from RTL here. Welcome to another Saturday Top 10 with my friend from Coleraine, Richard. Good morning, Richard.
Good morning, Ian. How are you on this absolutely dreadful, very rainy day? But there's a little bit of sun as well, so I don't know what it's going to do today.
No, we're just miserable.
Miserable. All right, okay, fair enough.
Yeah, his nibs put his head out this morning under the bush and came straight back in. That's enough for him. Anyway, enough of the weather. Today we've got a 80s synth top 10. Now, people are going to say Ian does heavy metal, but you got to remember, at this time, I was a teenager and just loved music. And there was some great synth pop in them 80s. So there was some absolute rubbish, but this is probably the creme de la creme. As usual, Richard goes first, I go second. 6 bubbling unders today.
7 for me.
Oh, It was hard to leave them out, wasn't it?
I know. I could have put in a lot more, but there we go.
Okay, so let's see what we got this time.
Okay, I shall start. Now, what I will say is, again, only one song per artist for me. And also my 7th choice of Bubbling Unders would actually be my number 1 choice in the main top 10. However, I'm not 100% convinced that it's mostly synth or synthesizer. That's hard to say. So I want to get it mentioned anyway, but it's a song I absolutely love to bits. So my number 10 is from 1982, and it's a number 7 hit for Blancmange, and it's Living on the Ceiling. You keep me hanging round and round, well, that's all right with me. And it's got a real sort of Easterny type synth in the chorus, and it's absolutely brilliant. It's from the great album Happy Families, which also include the fantastic single Waves. Although the single version of Waves is different to the LP version. I prefer the LP version. But yeah, always loved it. And I remember it out, and it must have been the autumn of 82. Brilliant track. So Blancmange, Living on the Ceiling, my number 10.
We'll talk about that in a while. But yeah, it was an autumn because it was around my birthday. It was out.
Yeah.
Okay, my number 10 is this a hit? Is this a synth pop hit? Well, it's from 1981 and it got to number 1. And it was in the summer of 81, and it was from Anika, Japanese Boy.
Oh yeah, we could say that.
Because there's and lots of little synth drums in it.
Yeah.
A great song. One of my favorite songs.
Yeah. It's probably politically incorrect or incorrect these days, but I love it as well. It's catchy, and it's, going back to the old disco days, whenever you're young, it was always played. Oh, fantastic choice.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's got that very Japanese Oriental sound. And I just couldn't leave it out.
Sung by a Scottish girl too.
Yeah.
Well, my number 9 is from the Human League. Now, they have loads of really good singles, but a particular favourite of mine got to number 6 in 1981. And it is from Dare, but it's a single that a lot of people forget about with Dare, and it's Open Your Heart, which I think is a really, really good, it's a quite rousing song. It is quite choral, but there is a very good sort of little synth bit of a couple of little notes at the end of each chorus, which is fantastic. And it was the single just before Don't You Want Me. So it came between Love Action, which is great as well, and Don't You Want Me. And so Open Your Heart from Dare is my number 9.
Yeah, I like that track a lot. What I like about it, you don't hear it so much on the actual single, but I've got the Love and Dancing.
Yeah, all right, okay.
And there's a lovely bit of still in the middle of that you don't hear because you've got Phil singing on it, but it's a well put together piece of music. I do like that track. One of my favourite songs off there. Okay, my number 9 is your number 10.
All right, good. Good.
I'm up the wall. I'm up on the radio one. They said a cuckoo tree.
Yes, but bloody tree.
Yeah. And my single version's got bloody tree on it.
So does mine. So
But
yeah,
yeah,
no,
I just love that tambula drum.
mm-hmm.
It was a great song, you know. You've said
Mm-hmm.
everything about it, really. It's just one of them classics, isn't it?
They never bettered it, although they did come close, I think, with Don't Tell Me from 1984. And although I like Blind Vision from 83 as well, it was quite a frenetic type song, but it was a serious grower. But Blancmange, I bought their 3 albums. I actually taped the first one, Happy Families, from a friend, and then I bought the next one, which was Mange Tout, Rodney, and the other one, Believe You Me, was or I Believe You Me, which was around 1986, which wasn't as good. They are going again, but it's just the Neil Arthur guy, the singer, under the name Blancmange. The other one, Stephen Liscombe, is no longer part of the band. I don't think he's that well, but no, great choice, number 9. Well, my number 8 was from 1980, and it's a number 5 hit, and you don't really associate this band, especially their bigger hits from 83, with synth pop or the new romantic movement. And it's Spandau Ballet, to cut a long story short, which I think is absolutely a fantastic song. It really is. It was their debut single, and their image at that time was completely different to the image of True and Gold 3 years later. In fact, they did actually change quite a bit, because their first album was very new romantic with that, and Muscle Bound and The Freeze, which are all great songs. To cut a long story short, is the highlight. And then they went a little bit sort of nightclubby with Paint Me Down and Chant Number 1, which is okay. And then they went really smooth, sort of lounge lizardy pop with True and Gold and all the rest of it. But to cut a long story short, absolutely fantastic track. And again, I think that was the autumn of 1980, and got to number 5, and it's my number 8.
Yeah, great track. I saw the drummer. I can't think of his name.
I know it's yeah, it's the one you can never remember, because Steve Norman and the 2 brothers, and I could never remember his name.
Yeah, he had a band, and he played in. It was called it's now what is the Black Prince, and they actually did. It was a more sort of new wave punk band, and they did a great version of To Cut a Long Story Short.
Yeah, I just think it's a fantastic song.
It's a very catchy tune as well. Brilliant choice. Okay, my number 8. We're going back to the Dare album.
All right, okay.
And it's a song. I think it was one of the first songs that I really heard by Human League. Sound of the Crowd.
I nearly picked that. That's close to mine as well. Love it. Absolutely love it. Brilliant choice.
Yeah, that's how my hair in the thumbnail, that is actually Phil Oakey's hair, because no one had ever seen anything like it. And you got to remember that them girls were about 14, 15.
Yes, but they were very young. They were
great. And I had the 12-inch of that, and I just love it.
Yeah. I think that was the Human League Red, because they used to do Human League Blue, Human League Red, and different colors for their singles. No, that was the first single off that album.
Yeah.
So it was, and that's really the one that got them exposed, and then the next one was Love Action, which was huge, but no, great choice. Well, my number 7 just makes this list and no more, because it's 1989, and it's near the end of 89. And it's Erasure. And I think my favorite single from Erasure is a track called Drama. And it's from their album, and I can't remember the name of it. It's the one with Star and Blue Savannah on it. But it's a really, really good song. It builds the song. And I think Andy Bell's vocals are fantastic. Whenever he sings "We Are Guilty" and then shout "Guilty" after it, brilliant track, and always loved it. They were a really good singles band, Erasure. Really good singles. So Drama is my number 7, and it got to number 4 in 1989.
Not a band that I don't particularly like, but I do like that song.
Yeah.
It's a really good song.
Mhm.
Poppy, synthy, and Andy Bell, give him his due. He could sing.
Yeah, I think he could sing, yeah, he definitely could.
Very good singer. Yeah, well, it's a good choice. Okay, my number 7 comes from 1983, and it's someone that I've actually seen perform. He had a big hit in 1982, got to number 2, What Is Love, Howard Jones.
Yeah. We'll be talking about him later as well.
Yeah, I just love that song. And when he done it live, it sounded very similar to what it was in the thing. And there was the guitar was done by Robin Bolt, who plays with Fish. He was on stage with him, and it was a little bit more meaty, but the whole song is brilliant. The harmonies, the singing. I just think it's a great song, and I love the synths in that. It's just that swirly keyboard synth.
Yeah,
So
it is good. I bought the single whenever it came out as well. That there sort of came out at the end of 83 and charted. Well, it charted in 83, but it climbed into 84 as well, because that was
yeah,
around the time of Pipes of Peace, Paul McCartney. Well, my number 6, I think you will have a different song by this band. Well, I'm guessing you will. But my choice for Visage, and it was a number 11 hit in 1982, is The Damned Don't Cry from their album, The Anvil, which is very, very atmospheric. It's very dark in sound as well. It is new romantic, but obviously the new romantics had a lot of synth in their music. And I just think it's fantastic. I bought the single when it came out. I thought it should have been top 5 without a doubt, but it just failed to make the top 10. But yeah, brilliant track. It's not their most famous song, which I think you might actually have somewhere in your list. Maybe wrong, but it's my number 6, Visage, Damn Don't Cry.
brilliant track. I used to work with a guy that knew Steve Strange.
All right, okay.
And he gave my work colleague one of his glittery suits.
All right, okay.
And he brought it in one day. And it was, wow. So, yeah, they were a great band, and everyone knows them for another song. But
yeah,
I nearly picked that one myself. But I went with my heart.
Right, okay.
Okay, my number 6. Now, this is another one of them. Is this? I wanted to pick something from this guy because this guy invented the synthesizer for me. If it weren't for him, we wouldn't have all these synth hits. And the most obvious one, and Nick will be upset because I didn't pick Cars. But I think there's too much guitaring in Cars to make it synthy. So I went for another out song from that period, We Are Glass, because that is just pure Gary Newman sound. So Nick will be pleased we've got Gary Newman in. But I just think We Are Glass really defined that sound that Gary produced.
Yeah, it's very catchy. I'm glad you didn't pick Cars, because if you had, you'd have failed, because it's 1979, so it's not the 80s.
Yeah.
I was looking at a lot of Gary Newman ones myself. And one that I didn't pick any Gary Newman, but the one I really like is Music for Chameleons. But it's the main instrument in it is bass, with the sort of bass line, which is fantastic. But no, We Are Glass, really, really good. And I don't think that featured on any of the albums. I think it might have been on the tape or cassette version.
Yeah, it was a big hit for him, number 5.
Yeah. Like he was having 1980 was a huge year for him. 79 was his biggest because he had 2 number 1s. But 1980 had We Are Glass, I Die, You Die, this record. So plenty of hits. Well, my number 5, and it's from 1983. I wouldn't be surprised if you have this as well. Number 2, and it's the Eurythmics' Sweet Dreams. Now, I knew Annie Lennox from The Tourists. So whenever I first saw her on Top of the Pops with the cropped orange hair, I knew her with the short blonde hair, and I love the Tourist. I still love the Tourist. This was completely different. I thought, oh my God, this is different, and the sound was brilliant. And then the backing vocalist as well, whoever that was, I have no idea, but it just made that song, and I just think it is absolutely brilliant. It should have been a #1 hit single, it deserved to be, and I still think it sounds fresh and exciting today in 2024. I just think it's a brilliant track, and they never bettered it. Now, the Eurythmics, I think, were better in their early years when they were more synthy rather than more pop orientated, where the synth was the major instrument. And Sweet Dreams for me, absolutely brilliant. That's my #5.
Do you know what? I totally forgot about it.
Did you? I thought that would be #1 on your list. There you go.
I'm glad you put it in now, because it should. I would have had it in my list. Okay, #5. Now this is another one of those. Is it a synth hit? I wanted to include Kim Wilde. Kids in America is too rocky, so I've gone with one of my favourite songs by Cambodia, because it's got a lot of lovely synth bits in it. I mean, I picked that single up in Leeds, and I was so glad I got it, because I think it's just catchy. It's a great vocal from her.
Great backing vocals as well. That's really makes it within the chorus. It really does sort of boom out at you. I think it's a fantastic song.
I do consider that a synth, because it is.
Oh no, definitely.
Yeah, great track that is.
Well, #4, and Jimmy Barnes, if you're watching, you'll be happy that this band is in, but it's a cover version. I'm not a huge fan of these guys, although I do have a couple of their albums. And it's the Pet Shop Boys, and it's their version of Always on My Mind from 1987. I absolutely love it. I really do. I think it's brilliant. It's the synth that make it for me, the synth backing. It's just so uplifting. It's great. Now, I do love Elvis's version as well, but it's like a ballad. And I don't like Willie Nelson's version because of his whiny voice. But the Pet Shop Boys, #1 in '87, thoroughly deserved to be there, and it's my #4. Love it.
Yeah, great track, and I do like that version. It's probably one of the only Pet Shop Boys songs I really like.
Yeah.
Okay, my #4, another band that I've seen, and when I saw them, they did the trilogy of songs. So OMD. And the one that really stands out, because it's got a lovely piece in it, and it's Maid of Orleans, The Waltz of Joan of Arc.
Right. The one that sounds as if it's bagpipes. Yeah. But it's not.
I love that song. I think the drumming, the synth drums is great. The synthy bass, Andy's vocals are just.
Did you see them doing that live?
Yeah, they did. Souvenir, Joan of Arc, and Maid of Orleans.
Right. You see, whenever Andy, you've obviously seen this, but whenever Andy McCluskey plays it live, I don't know if he does this now, but the drum bit at the end, he really has the arms flying all over the place and jumping all over the place. Now, he's getting older, so I don't know if he does that now, but it's so energetic. And by the end of that song, he always looks shattered, but it's fantastic. And
I saw him in 1992.
Oh, well, they would have been younger then.
Yeah, I that was the gig where I saw Simple Minds, Stranglers, and OMD.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that would have been fantastic. Really would.
Yeah. But it's one of them songs. And what was also good, the crowd would do clapping the beat.
Mm-hmm.
That boom, 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 dum, dum, dum. It made your hairs on the back of your neck.
Yeah.
But yeah, Andy was like an octopus.
I know, arms flying everywhere, but it was great. No, fantastic voice. Right, top 3. My #3. You mentioned Steve Strange. Well, he was in the video for this one, and it's David Bowie's "Ashes to Ashes," #1 hit. in 1980, and it is a synth-driven song, obviously. And he actually used that synth riff for a song from the 2013 album, The Next Day, Love Is Lost, which is really, really well. It's actually a remix version. That's how the riff got into it. But Ashes to Ashes, a really, really brilliant track. Remember it when it came out, and it must have been around June or so of 1980. And that's when I was really heavily starting to get into David Bowie. And I just bought Ziggy and Hunky Dory, and this had just been released. And my brother actually bought that single, but I've got it now. But love it, absolutely love it. And it's not really representative of the Scary Monsters album that it features on, because it's a very heavy album, very Robert Fripp guitar based album. This is very synth, and it seems a little bit out of place, but still, I love it being in there. And it's my number 3. Absolutely brilliant song.
It is a brilliant song.
It is.
You can't go wrong with that one. Okay, my number 3 is from 1982. Number 3, Tears for Fears, and it's Mad World.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, well, a friend of mine, well, she was my very first girlfriend. She had that, and we used to play that all the time.
Oh, there you go. Nice memories.
Yeah, and she was really into her synth pop.
Yeah.
And that one was one of our sort of favourite songs. I think it's brilliant because is it Kurt actually made some of the words up when he was recording it?
Quite possibly. I'm not.
Yeah,
a
there's
huge
a bit.
fan.
When they said there's a bit in it, I think that wasn't on when they wrote it, but when they were recording it, he just sung it and they kept it in.
Yeah. No, very, very good choice. My favourite of that from that period is Pale Shelter of theirs. I think it's a really good track.
Well, that's that. I mean, Pale Shelter, The Big Chair, all them songs were just absolutely phenomenal.
Did you like the version that got to number 1? I can't remember who the guy was.
The Let's Go and Jump Off the Cliff version.
Oh, yeah. Well, okay.
It's all right, but I prefer the Tears for Fears, the best version.
Right, my number 2 is from one of my favourite groups, and you don't really associate them with synth pop, but this is probably the most synth song. I can never say the word synth. This is probably the most synth song on my list. And it only got to number 32 in 1982. That's The Day Before You Came by ABBA, which is all synth. It's all synth. And it is absolutely brilliant. It's one of those story songs. It's my top 5 ABBA singles, and you know how much I love ABBA. And I had to get it in this list, and I had to even put it above Ashes to Ashes because I think it's magnificent. And what a way to go out for me. It's the last song they have actually ever recorded before they came back from Voyage, but it wasn't the last single. Although it was the last one they did, they had recorded Under Attack before that, and then released Under Attack as their last single. But Day Before You Came, it was covered by Blancmange, who actually did better with it. They got into the top 30. And then Tickerum did a pretty dodgy version on her Cappuccino Songs album. It's all right, but it's nothing brilliant. But The Day Before You Came by ABBA, my number 2.
Great song. I like that song. I think the words are lovely.
Yeah.
Absolutely wonderful words. Okay, my number 2. It's a band that we've already mentioned, and you're absolutely correct. I went with this one. It's, of course, Fade to Grey.
Yeah, it is fantastic. It is.
I just love the French. I think that for the French speaking, it just adds.
Yeah.
It gave it that je ne sais quoi, didn't it, really? A brilliant song from a brilliant, brilliant artist.
Yeah.
And not appreciated as much as he should have been.
No, he wasn't. And he passed away, it must be about 10 years ago now, or is it?
Yeah, very sad, but he was one of the front runners of this sort of music.
Yeah, I know. And considering that's 1980, so this is before your Duran Duran, Planet Earth, and all the rest of them. And he was part of that scene, but really of that new romantic scene. He was one of the first ones to have the hit. And no, Fade to Grey is absolutely brilliant. I could have had it in the list, but I went with my head would have said Fade to Grey, but my heart says The Damned Don't Cry. But the fact that there's two absolute classics in there is great. Well, my number one is from a band that you have already mentioned. You were talking about their trilogy, but I haven't gone for any of those three. All three are brilliant, but I've gone for Enola Gay. It's my favorite synth pop song of all time. I absolutely love it. And it's not just the synth part, which is great, it's the bass run by Andy McCluskey, which I think is absolutely, it's very simple. It's just boom, 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 but it is really, really, really good. And it was 1980 as well. Now, these guys were almost like nerds. They weren't new romantic or dress up like he used to wear a tank top and all the rest of it and look like a geography teacher. But the music is so good. It's from their album Organization. It opens it up. It is the best track on that album, although the album is really good. But number 8 in 1980 for Enola Gay, and I still love it. And it's one of those songs, if you hear it in the car, you wank it up. Really brilliant.
And hearing that live is
Yeah.
they're a fantastic live band.
Yeah, they would be, without doubt.
And that is a great song. It's nice that there's two of their great songs that are in this top 10. Okay, my number one is from probably. They started off as a post-punk band with John Fox, and then Midge came in, and they are probably my favourite synth pop band because it's all down to the late Bruce Cross and Warren's drumming and that's Ultravox, and it's the greatest song that was never number one.
Yeah.
Shut up in your face.
Well, it just wasn't Shut Up in Your Face. That was one of them that kept them off, because Vienna was number 2 for quite a few weeks. John Lennon, I believe, was one of them that kept them off.
Yeah.
I think
but Vienna is just the ultimate.
Yeah, I know.
It's got synth sounds. It's got some beautiful piano. Midge's finest hour on vocals, and you've got, of course, the violin, which I think Warren played, didn't he?
Yeah, I think so.
Just a beautiful song.
Yeah, it is good. That gets better with age as well. So I remember it being out thinking this is really good, but I absolutely love it now. But it didn't make my list. Didn't even make my bubbling unders, but another one did. And if I go into my bubbling unders, I'll start with it.
Yeah. There's another one I could have picked. I'll see if it is the one that I would have gone for.
Well, you see, my favourite Ultravox song is The Thin Wall, but I didn't pick it because it's not quite as synthy. So my first bubbling under, Ultravox, and it's The Voice from 1981.
Yeah, that's the other one.
Yeah, I love it. Absolutely love it. Number 16. I only got to number 16 in the charts, for heaven's sake. There's no justice in this world, but absolutely fantastic. Second bubbling under is Japan and Quiet Life from 1981 as well, and it got to number 19. I could have picked Gentlemen Take Polaroids, but I just think Quiet Life maybe just does it, and it's excellent. A little bit of a Roxy Music feeling, that David Sylvian's voice, but still brilliant. Howard Jones, you mentioned, but I've gone for the really catchy new song from 1983. Number 3 in the charts, and I always thought it was very quirky with your guy in chains dancing around, and I just loved it. Soft Cell get in. Now the one I picked actually is Torch from 1982, a number 2 hit, and it's got this sort of synth sound. It sounds almost like a trombone type of sound, but it is synth going the whole way through it. But excellent track. Didn't get on any of the albums. Standalone single. Yazoo and Nobody's Diary from 1983, which was one of Alison Moyet's song, but it's obviously the second choice I have from Vince Clarke, because he was in Erasure, but they're not the same band. and it is just really good. And it takes me back to around the springtime of '83. Absolutely loved it. And then Vince Clarke features again in a band that I don't really like, but I've always loved this quirky little song. And it's Depeche Mode from '82, and it's The Meaning of Love. I've just always loved that track, and it reminds me of whenever I got a job after doing my O levels for the summer in a record shop. And that was one of the singles that was in the charts at the time, and I used to play it quite a bit. Although I had to play Foster and Allen every other track because that's the one that sold. Because we're from Northern Ireland, and the old biddies used to come in and say, "What are you playing? I'll buy that single." But anyway, The Meaning of Love, really good track. And the last one, and this would probably be my number one, it really should be, but to me, it's not fully synth. And it's the Associates Party Fierce 2 from 1982 and a number 9 hit. The piano is, I think it's piano, maybe it might be a synth piano, is to the forefront here. And there is a lot of little synth bits and bobs. But to me, I don't know, there's something holding me back from putting it in the main list. But it's the song that I think is the best ever single from 1982. And I got to number 9, The Associates Party Fierce 2.
There's some great ones in there. I mean, the Associate ones, yeah, it's borderline, isn't it?
Yeah. So
But
it gets a list, that's it. It gets a mention.
Going back to the thing, to the voice, I think the best version I've got of that is on that EP, Monument. The live version.
Oh, the live version, I haven't
When
heard
they
that.
come out at the end, they do all that drumming, which is actually a bit from a song off the Vienna album. I can't remember what song it is, but there's a great thing. The other one I nearly picked for that was the first. It was Astrodyne.
Ah, right, okay.
The instrumental, I love that. But yeah, some great choices. Okay, mine starts off from 1982, and it's Yazoo and Don't Go.
Yeah, great
I
track.
love that little. It's a great vocal from Alison as ever. Now here's one. This only got to number 49 in the charts in 1982, and I'm actually putting the whole lot in the playlist today because it's a celebration of synth pop. And this is She Blinded Me with Science, Thomas Dolby.
Yeah, it is quite good. There's quite a few Thomas Dolby fans on the VC. James Griffiths is a big Thomas Dolby fan.
Yeah, I love that. I mean, I like Hyperactive, but this one, it was just, it's that science. And then just another bloke that doesn't get enough love in the VC. Yeah. Okay, my next one is a song from 1980, and it's a lovely little love song by the Corgis.
Oh,
everybody's got to love sometime. I love that song. Yeah. It's. I remember again, my first girlfriend. She loved this song as well. Mm-hmm. She was her that introduced me to it. It's absolutely beautiful.
I've actually got 2 Corgis albums, which I remember buying donkeys years ago out of a flea market. Well, the indoor market we call it here. And I never played them. I only bought them for that single, and then the other album I bought for If I Had You, which I do prefer. I love that track from '79, but I must give those Corgis album a listen.
Okay, we go to 1981 now, and I think it was one of the first singles from Depeche Mode. That was their first or second. Just Can't Get Enough.
Mm-hmm. Excellent.
Yeah, that was actually played on the radio yesterday when we were Lee and I were coming back from because we went out for his birthday, and it came on the radio. And we're both heavy metal fans.
Yeah, I know. Well, that's the thing. You know.
Okay, I had to get this band in. They're just one of my favourite sort of synthy weird bands. It's from 1984, got to number 8, and it's Close to the Edit, The Art of Noise.
So I knew you would put that in.
Yeah, I could have put so many off that debut album, Who's Afraid. I could have put in Beatbox. I could have put in Moments in Love. There's so many great songs on that. But Close to the Edge is just the first thing I ever heard by them. And
Close to the edit. Close to the edit.
The edit, yeah.
You're thinking of Yes.
Yeah. But it's the start. What song starts with an ignition key?
Yeah, I know.
And Anne Dudley was just fun.
Can I tell you something? I can name you a song that starts with an ignition key. Doesn't Ultravox's Love is a Drug not start with an ignition key?
I think so as well, yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
And my last one is from 1981. It's the one that starts off, "Hello, is that the White House?" "No, President Carter can't get talk to you right now." It's Einstein a Go-Go from Landscape.
Oh, yeah, that's good. I really like that. I forgot all about that.
And I've thought of another one as I've been talking, and I don't know how neither of us remembered it. Is It a Dream? Classic Nouveau.
Yeah, Sal Solo. It's not bad either. I wouldn't have put it in anyway, but
No,
yeah, it's
but
not.
yeah, I just thought of that one because that one's another.
Yeah. There's
I'm not
hundreds.
going to put it in the list. I just thought of that one.
I got a list of about 30. Like, songs I really love, like Duran Duran's Planet Earth, I think is brilliant.
I think there's enough to do and more synth pop. Because I think we'll do another one of these at some stage.
Yeah. But you're still allowed to include the artists that you've included here. So I could get another Human League in.
Yeah, I think it should have another bash at this because I could have done it. We should have done a top 20. I think we should have done a top 20 at this.
Yeah, well.
Thinking of it. Okay, that has been another fabulous trip down memory lane, really, and we are going to put a lot in today because it's a celebration of synth pop, and I know there's a lot of people that like this sort of music, and it's a nice little playlist for everyone to listen to. Anyway, next time we're going to try and have some summer. We're going to invoke summer, and we're going to do a top 10 on summer hits that mention the words, summer songs.
Yeah.
That mention words like vacation, sun, summer. Are we going to mention hot?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's what we're doing next time.
That's actually quite difficult now that I'm thinking of it, but we'll have a go. Because I'm sure there's a lot.
Well, I'm sure there is. Anyway, once again, thank you very much for Richard for this. We always have fun doing these.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll be back on Monday. I'm sure Richard will be going through his record collection this week. Yes,
in about 20 minutes. From recording, 20 minutes it's going up.
Yes, so and then the good news is you will see Richard again on Thursday. Yeah, I should pop in on Thursday. I'm off next week. Way. Yeah, so Richard will come in. So he might stay longer enough to say, so Michael's on. No. Anyway, so what it leaves me to say is it's goodbye from me. That's goodbye from him. Okay, folks. See you soon. Take care. Bye.